All right, guys, today we are, for science, going to go through a presentation, and it is all about the scientific method. The scientific method is a way to solve a problem. It's something that you may have studied in the past in a different grade level, and so we'll probably do some different things with it and dig deeper into it in sixth grade. All right, so what is the scientific method? Well, really, if we're being technical, it is the steps someone takes to identify a question, develop a hypothesis, design and carry out steps or procedures to test the hypothesis, and document observations and findings to share with somebody else. So if we think about this, it's really a way to solve a problem. And you run into problems every day. Everyday problems might be something like a fight with your sibling or a friend. So the first thing you want to do is figure it out. Oh, hey, my friend is mad at me. And then you're going to guess, what is this problem? You're going to think about how you're going to fix it. You're going to try your strategy and see how your friend reacts. And then you're going to adjust your plan to try to fix the problem if your first strategy didn't work. And hopefully you would be able to fix this problem with your friend. So that's kind of how the scientific method works, just with everyday problems that we have. Now, scientists have to take the time to think logically when they're investigating a question or a problem. So they break things down into many steps that make sense. We're going to go with 7 steps to the scientific method in our class. Most people agree that there are 5 to 8 main steps of the scientific method. Here's the 7 we're going to use. We're going to choose a problem or something we're curious about. We're going to research the problem. You can research a problem by going on the internet and looking up information. You could also research a problem just by making observations or using knowledge that you already have about the topic. But once you research it, you start to draw conclusions about what causes your problem, why it's a problem or a curiosity. And then you're going to form a hypothesis based on the information you learned during thinking about your research. A hypothesis is really a fancy word for making an educated guess. Next, you're going to plan and write out your procedure that you're going to take in order to go through with the experiment. So then you're going to go through with it. You're going to do the experiment and test your guess that you made for your hypothesis. While you're going through your experiment, you're going to record all of your observations, any results you see, and the data that you get from the experiment. Finally, you want to share your information of what you learned and communicate that conclusion. All right, so like I said, the first thing is that you would choose something that can be answered with an experiment. It should be something that interests us or deals with our everyday lives. So that's choosing a problem. In the classroom, what we're going to do is figure out, do Mrs. Leith's students prefer golden Oreos or chocolate Oreos? So now we need to research our question. Sometimes if our question is complex, like I said, we need to go to the computer lab and do some research, or go online and do some research. And you can also just make observations or interview people or in a book or someplace other than the internet. So for this one, I'm making an observation on Oreos. And what I have noticed is I see more students eating chocolate Oreos than golden Oreos at lunchtime. So what sense am I using for my observation here? My eyes, right? My vision. So based on that observation, I'm going to create a hypothesis, which is a possible answer to the question that we are testing for this experiment. Like I said, some people call it an educated guess, but your hypothesis is really a conclusion you make based on the information that you've gathered. So, since I have seen more students eating chocolate Oreos at lunch, I'm predicting after our experiment, students in our class will prefer chocolate Oreos rather than golden Oreos. So now we would have to write out a procedure. This is where we will list all of the materials we need. We'll make a step-by-step list of the steps we're going to take, and we will make sure we have them in order so that we know exactly what we're going to do. So here's what I've done for our Oreo experiment. The materials we need, of course, are chocolate Oreos, golden Oreos. I need napkins for 40. I know I only have 18 students in here for the whole, in my class, but then I only have 16, I guess, that would be doing the experiment. So I guess 40 would be more than enough napkins. I plan to use a napkin for the golden Oreo and a napkin for the chocolate Oreo, but still 40 is more than enough. I want everyone to have their own water bottles, and I need to have paper or pencil or a Chromebook or a smartboard or something for me to collect information. So my plan is the procedures I'm going to use. I'm going to use napkins to pass out one golden Oreo, and then I'm going to use a napkin to pass out one golden Oreo to each student. Students will choose which cookie they're going to begin with. The student will make sure their mouth is clean of all of their tastes before beginning, so they'll spit out any gum or anything else they might have in their mouth and drink some water to wash their palate. They're going to eat one of the cookies, write down everything they think about. What do they notice about the texture, the taste, anything they can think of when they're eating the cookie. It's really important. Step 5 is super important. They have to wash out their mouth with water before they try the other cookie. Finally, they're going to make their decision of which cookie they prefer, the golden Oreo or the chocolate Oreo. And so what I'm planning to do is to take these steps. I'm going to share this with the gold students on Tuesday in the classroom, and they'll eat the Oreos and do the experiment. Then on Wednesday, I'm going to do have the blue students eat the cookies and collect information. And then on Thursday is when we will share all of the information, and no matter where you're at, you're going to use the information to write up a summary of the information we gather from the experiment. All right, so in the classroom, what we will be doing is getting all of our materials and following the procedures and making observations. And here is where I plan to write down what I observe, what students think, their thoughts, their vote. Is it chocolate or is it the golden Oreo? And once I've done that, everyone is going to write down the information, and I'm going to show you how you can make a table or you can make a graph to show the difference between the two topics. So chocolate Oreos and vanilla or golden Oreos. Finally, you want to state your conclusion, which I said that we will do on Thursday, and analyze how many people liked each type of cookie. So a lot of times, once a scientist completes the experiment, they often repeat it to see if they get the same findings or results. This is what we call verification, or checking things out to make sure everything was valid and will happen again and again. All right, so that's the end of our presentation. If you are a blue student, you will do this experiment on Wednesday when you come into class. If you are a student who is full remote learning, I'm sorry I didn't send any cookies home with your learning packets for you to try the experiment. If you have something at home that you want to test between flavors of ice cream or candy or something fun that you have, go for it. And we'd love to hear what you think or your vote in that matter.